I watched the second vice president press conference, and when we thought that we had seen it all, we now realize there is no limit to the depth of shamelessness and depravity to which this man is willing to sink. First, he blames the Venezuelan crisis on fringe elements, trying to chisel away at the national solidarity. Where is the solidarity when he meets with the Venezuelans on October the 30th, after the meeting between the government and the opposition, pledging full cooperation between them, and nefariously and appeared to have nefariously lied about the opposition, causing xenophobic acts against them, while the PPP, on the other hand, loves them. We saw the video, Mr. Vice President, and a must-see of MPs Amanza Walton's, a true patriot and leader, own video about that video. MP Walton's is a real leader, and her patriotic video is a must for the media. I'm certain that the media saw both videos, but troubling that not a single question on them, though that the most critical matter and crisis facing this nation. He also did not even mention a word about it, or wonder why. MP Walton wrote to Minister Todd, according to her video, asking whether such a meeting took place, whether the meeting was organized by the government, and for the transcript of the meeting to be made available to the opposition. We also implored that the media follow up with these crucial questions. If we are collaborating, we have to collaborate all the way, according to MP Walton. If such a meeting, it has now become apparent why he could not invite the opposition to that meeting, where he accused the opposition of xenophobic acts. He's just taking the opportunity behind our backs to score cheap political points. He must, I repeat, he must repudiate that video, or else should resign. For not to do so would be tantamount to being treasonous, as well articulated by our brilliant attorney, MP Walton. And then he had the gall to mention that the opposition and these fringe elements are misrepresenting his own views about what he has said in the past, like clipping tapes conveniently, like video footings to support the narrative they're pursuing. People know we have solidarity, so do not succumb to these crazy people, according to the Vice President. Who is really crazy, Mr. Vice President? Isn't it you, the same man who questions yourself from time as if you're sane or not, and have to remind yourself about whether you're sane? Remember that recent press conference just recently? He has no shame or believe that people are foolish and senile to not believe what they're seeing. The video of him at the top of his voice saying that we should give Venezuela a pathway to the Atlantic is there for all to see. The video is there for all of us to see when he lambasted the APNU, AFC government, when the opposition shouting as loud as possible that they sold out the nation's patrimony. Every Guyanese must be sad at every new oil discovery. That's what he said. And he will renegotiate the contract. It is obvious that he can't help himself, for this is a Russian dogma that one, if you tell a lie over and over, the people eventually believe it. And the abracadabra, that it is not really what you see. Then he says of all the things that we have to understand our history. When we had no freedom and no food, fled from oppression and hunger, they were economic migrants and had to flee. But what he didn't say, whether through ignorance or what, is that in those times, as I recall, we were ranked around the second poorest country in the hemisphere, behind Haiti. So there was a legitimate reason to seek a better life abroad. There was no oil, but now we have oil and is the richest country on the planet. So what is causing the mass migration now, Mr. Jagdeo? He himself castigated the opposition for only talking about feeding the people in a recent conference, which means that he He's not interested in the basic things such as feeding the people. Then on the fact-finding mission, he is now questioning the credibility, those were his words, of the U.S. fact-finding mission. That, and this is what he said, that the fact-finding mission, they should do fact-find the person who headed the meeting in Washington, D.C. He's just obsessed with this meeting in Washington, D.C. He says, Guyana is more integrated country than the United States. So now he's attacking these honorable congressmen and the United States. He says again that that Guyana is more integrated country than the USA, and would find more cases of discrimination in America than Guyana and in the states where these people are coming from. He's now personally attacking these senators or congressmen or whatever position they hold. And he said they should start in the United States and then come here. The bottom line is that this man has no class to be insulting these honorable legislators from the most powerful country in the world. He is not interested in unity and collaboration and national solidarity. It could only be seen as an opportunity to get Venezuelan votes to continue in power. He understands that Guyanese are fed up with him, from the blackouts to the hunger, to bulldozing people home, to the way that he's treating his own constituents, the cane cutters. But if he was doing anything good for the people when he holds on to power, as he wants to do, that would have been one thing. His problem is that he only keeping power for his friends, families, and favorites, as everyone sees where the oil money is going and not going. It's only going to the top 1% of his friends, families, and favorites. He is desperate and believes that he could survive by playing politics with our patrimony, our people, and our national security. His modus operandi is to create a problem and then blame everybody except himself. We see what happened with the Policia episode, where he's now throwing Hickens and Ben under the bus. We've seen what happens with the $14 million, the $214 million disappearing to $3 million. We've seen what happened with the Skeldon estate.